screen, get us all the likes we possibly can get.
All
Yes,
right,
we
Rab.
are. And
We're
share
doing. We're gonna do we're gonna do the first water check with everyone because we're gonna cheers everyone
to 1,000. To 1,000.
to 1,000.
Cheers. Cheers to 1,000 followers. Mm, that's good. That's gonna be 96
Kara,
ounces of
thank you
water
for
for
all
me.
the gifts.
96 ounces of water. Yes, relationships, Regs. Let's get it going.
All right, let's
So,
get this going.
we got a couple of guests with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about relationships after bariatric surgery. It seems to be such a touchy subject, but we're not going to know where you think we're going. Um, I also want to make sure before we even get into it, better counts. Still the bad. Before we even get into it, um, I want to make sure that we are all respecting those guests on the panel and in the comments. I can't stress that enough. Um, just, disrespect will not be tolerated. We will boot you up on up out of here because this is all positive energy going on here on the Barry Male Experience. Again, we'd like to thank you all for showing up tonight, hanging out with us. We're going to talk about relationship, bariatric, after bariatric surgery. Do we have any guests waiting to come up yet?
Yes,
Who do
and
we
if you are
have?
scheduled to come up, please send out that request, and I will get you guys into the room.
Get on up here. Let's
We
talk
have
about
one,
it. Oh my, we
and
got
we are
Home
waiting for our
Street
next
Home.
one.
Welcome, sir. It's a pleasure to have you. And Bobby D. All
What's
right.
happening, guys?
Gotta make sure I put my
How
tie
you
on.
doing? I
What's
love
that?
that
I
tie. I
love it.
love it.
That's perfect. And look at that.
Thanks.
You know, we all have beards. We're all follically challenged.
Oh, dang.
Absolutely. Well, how you guys doing? Thanks for coming to hang out with us tonight.
Well, of
Doing
course,
Yeah,
man.
thank you.
So, Bobby, tell us a little bit about yourself, bro. What surgery did you have? Where you at
How
right
far
now?
are you out?
Yeah.
So I had a VSG on April 5th. This April will be 3 years.
Wow.
So it's and it's been a journey. Uh,
Yeah.
I I started this whole journey at 420 pounds. So currently sit about 223 and feeling good. The Bourbon
Wow.
Boys. So
The Bourbon Boy. The Bourbon Boys. We do got the Bourbon. We got the Bourbon Boys up here
Yes.
tonight. I didn't even think about it. We got the daggone Bourbon. Do you all know that you guys are both the Bourbon Boys?
I
I
think
don't
we had a
know.
discussion.
I think we did.
I think there was a discussion in our live before about that.
Yeah, yeah, Bobby. I mean, I know Bobby more than I know Home Street Home. But I know Bobby is into the bourbons, and then talking to Home Street Home about it, I'm like, oh, damn, they're both into to bourbons pretty strong. And yeah, I mean, if
The
y'all haven't
Bourbon
linked up,
Whisperer.
I'm surprised y'all haven't linked up yet, for sure.
I tried to link up, but he told me he wasn't interested.
He caught me on an off day.
Yeah, right. So, how has relationships at all affected you during your journey, Bobby?
So that's a huge thing because like I mean as us males we after doing this and seeing success like we kind of think life is going to be a little bit easier sometimes and and what we fail to like what we don't notice is that we lose a lot of friendships.
Mm,
So, and I'm not talking in necessarily the female kind or anything else, but just in your everyday life, like your general friends. and and it took me a while to even notice that. Like you get a lot of people like I mean, who on here has even said like someone's like, "Oh, you've changed since surgery."
right.
Like you treat something different, and like, and that's okay to change because our change is for to better ourselves. And so I noticed that a lot of my past was a lot of the bar scene. You know, as the bar scene get everything going, and that's what my friends did. So I noticed that those friends faded, and it's hard to not take it like personal because you think it's you, but like it is you, but it's not. You know, like it was like you're altering your lifestyle, and you're trying to stay away from some things, and it's kind of hard because you think it's them, but then it's you, and then they think it's you, and but you know, like so I'm just going on the natural friend side of this first, but like I lost the best man at my wedding, you know, a friend of 10 years. I've lost, you know, like I've distanced myself from someone who I've been friends with over 25 years. I mean, we change, and it's not necessarily for the bad, man. It's, you know, so
Was there like anything toxic between any of you? Was it like ugly, or was it just like you just lost touch and just stopped interacting?
so I think it's a little bit of both. I don't necessarily it's a lack of like interacting. I think the interaction between us changed, you know, I'll put in like one situation that, you know, I grew up with one of my buddies. You know, he was in my wedding and everything else, and he was always military. He was always fit. He was always this outgoing person and everything else. And you know, a lot of us were the fat funny guys, the fat funny friends. No, you know, we had no issue. You know, like we were never a threat to anyone, and they kept us around. And I noticed that, you know, like he'd always push me to become better. And so that's part of it. You know, like man, you got this. You know, he's a Marine. You know, like you can do this, you can do that. And then, you know, I started noticing that even though it was surgery related, and he, you know, he did a little one dash at it, you know, like a little jab at the, you know, the surgery, taking the easy way out, and a jokingly friend way. So you're like, oh, whatever. But when you start getting successful, I noticed things change. His demeanor changed, you know, because you know when you're around the same group of people, he's no longer the focal point. You know, so I think I was talking to Rab the other day. I said something. It's like
Yeah.
people always want you to be successful until you're better than them. And you know,
Mm.
and we don't even have to think that we are better than them by any means. It's their perception. It's
Yeah,
like
it's almost like you know, you get to where they're pushing you to get to. They're saying, "Hey, get to this level. You can do it. We're good. You get there." And then when you get there, you know, it's a problem and you seem to be like a threat
because
to them and
yeah,
that's the way they treat
because they thought they doubted you really. Because deep down,
you. Yeah.
you were always the project. Like they'll never become close. They'll never be this. Like he's never going to succeed until you do. And when you become, you know, when you do succeed and you build your confidence up, you know, I got more verbal. You know, we all went out one night and he didn't like the situation. He walked home. And you know, me still being who I was, I went out. Dude, you know, it was a, you know, drinking night, whatever it was, and, you know, back in my hometown, our hometown.
Mm.
And you know, I was like, I'll go come get you, man. Like, I'm not gonna neglect you. Like, just because you think I've changed and you changed, I haven't. Like, I'm still me,
Right.
and that's part
So
of it. You know, like, yeah,
so James actually said in the comments, I've always been the fat friend, or with the ladies, the friend
Yeah. The friend
in the
zone
friend
guy.
zone.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
always in the friend
yeah.
zone.
I've
Oh,
been there
you're
myself.
sweet. You're nice. You're cool. You
We
make
were
me
never
laugh.
threats, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like,
So
I literally make jokes about that because all growing up, I was the only guy who was allowed to stay at the friends that are girls' house.
Yeah.
And I thought it was hilarious. You know, I was like, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I milked it, but you know, that's what it was though. Like, you also know that, hey, you ain't got no shot with that, but deep down, like, that's
I
what we were.
mean,
We were threats.
yeah.
yeah.
You ain't got no shot with that.
So
I don't know. They might think you don't have a shot with it, but I
so
I I beg to differ. I beg to
so
differ.
home sweet home. Let's get a little
uh,
info for you. Uh,
yeah.
you want to share a little bit of your story, your surgery date, how far out you are,
Yeah,
and
I'm
just experiences yourself.
so I'm 7 months out from due needles witch DS on the 31st of May. My high weight was 521 last February. I'm currently at 303, so 150 down in the last 7 months.
Wow, that's
Um,
awesome.
and I'm down, 220-ish to 18-ish from February. So that feels great. I'm a retired firefighter paramedic. I was a firefighter paramedic for over 18 years. Had a work injury, had to retire. So I'm now a real estate agent in the great state of Texas.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what
And
experiences for you?
I'm sorry, what was
What
what
experiences?
experience?
Oh, go ahead, bro.
What experiences have you dealt with regarding relationships after bariatric surgery?
that? I think a big one is I had a buddy of mine who kind of talked me into the surgery or helped me make my decision. They were going to be here for me for my recovery, help me through the process. Um, and what happened is he ended up moving the day of my surgery, didn't tell me. Um, and through my journey and process, uh, I've lost a friend of over a decade because he had bypass, and within 3 or 4 months, I surpassed his weight loss of what he's had in the last 5 to 6 years. And he couldn't just get over the fact that I was doing good and he was not doing good anymore because he needed to go back and probably have a conception test and figure out what his issue was if he could eat the way he was prior to surgery.
Mm.
And he just completely cut me off. Lost like one of my best friends. Um, this is the guy that was at my house for every holiday. His kids would come to my house when they moved out of state. So pretty good friend. But I've had others. My business mentor went through weight loss surgery 6 years ago. She had the sleeve, and
Mm.
what I've learned is I didn't necessarily pick her as my mentor because of that, but it drastically helped because um, she knows when I'm having a day and I need to take a work remotely day, or if I'm having a bad tummy day, she can understand that. So
Hmm.
I lost a friend through this process, but I've also gained a lot of new friends. Um,
Hmm.
so that's kind of what's highlight to me of this journey so far.
So, and I'll let you guys both answer this. I'll start with you, Bobby. What was your family's reaction? Like, how did the family dynamic change or anything after you announced that you were going to have the surgery?
Um, Not really,
Yeah.
because I was a firefighter for 18 years, so I was always in working shape. I mean, I was always a big guy, 270, 300. I was just a big firefighter. So when I got up to 500, everyone got so concerned of my health, and I started having underlying issues and pre-diabetic and high blood pressure and all this list of things that come with being obese. And when I told them I was having surgery, they were relieved, thankful. Um, but I waited to tell them until about a month before the surgery itself. Um, I don't know why I did that. I think it was more of I just didn't want to deal with the questions. But my sister's in the pharmaceutical world, so she, dove in head first and wanted to learn everything about the procedure and the follow up. And my sister actually sends me a care package every month from a bariatric company, so I get a box of snacks every month. And she did that for the first year as congratulations for surgery. So I've got a lot of support. No negative from a family standpoint, all positive.
What about you, Bobby?
um, Two different sides of the family wise, but through my side, it was very welcomed. My father had surgery, I want to say like 8 or 9 years ago beforehand. Some of y'all met him. Pops. He's Pops on here, not Pops Lips, but uh, he gets on in. So I got to kind of experience the whole surgery aspect of it, and that's one thing I took with me is that I saw his route and I adjusted myself to it. But other than that, that was really well. And I actually, even in my personal with the wife and everything else, and her side, it was it was welcomed very well. Now, later on after surgery and things happen and things change and you start changing yourself, there's a little difference because they haven't fully experienced me as long as my family has. So, there's a lot of like you're looking like, like, is it them? Is it you? Is it that? And so there's definitely there's some issues that's happened in in that situation where, that's where they start like, oh, you've changed so much. And it's like, like, I haven't changed. You just changed the way you treat me. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of one of the biggest things is that, like, I've still the same person. Your perceived notion of how you think I'm going to act is different now. And you see it a little differently, but, like, I'm still me. I never changed is how I feel. I mean, but who knows? Like, when you are yourself, you don't really know. You just keep doing you, I feel.
So
But
I know
Go
I've
ahead.
changed. I know I've changed. So like I haven't lost anything with my family, but I've lost friendships with friends because our relationships revolved around food and going out and experiencing things. And I separated myself from that because it was the money and I don't want the temptation. But I kind of have the same issue with like Bobby had is I was always that jokester, outspoken, alpha, funny mindset, big guy, right? So my friends weren't intimidated or they weren't worried about me. And even through this process, I've been married 16 years, and like I've my a couple of my friends act differently around me, and with their wives and everything. I've always been flirtatious, but now I don't know. With them, don't need to have that conversation of okay, like, are you not comfortable with it anymore, right? Like, just a flirt, and so that's one of the negatives out of a friendship that I've had so far. But
Yeah, there is a question that asked Home Street Home, how's it being a firefighter now?
so I'm retired. I had a work related injury that retired me. Hence the beard. I couldn't be an active firefighter with a beard. So
Let me ask you guys a question, and those of you in the comments as well. You're involved in this panel just as much in the comments, and we appreciate you all for that. But the question is, in what ways has your personal relationship with yourself changed post bariatric surgery?
I still have a love hate relationship with myself. I'm 7 months out, so Bobby probably can contest a little bit differently, but it's a mental game, right? It's 80, 90% mental, 10, 20% physical, and my cope was food. So I'm now challenging myself to get out of those mental health spirals, and think positive because I feel positive versus I always thought negative and felt negative. Um, so that's what I'm experiencing so far. There's things I love about my change, and there's things that I don't. I think the changes in my body and how it looks isn't something I'm a huge fan of, and I'm trying to embrace it. Um, but that's my story.
What about you, Bob?
can you repeat the question because I was listening and then reading everything else. So
Yeah, I
that's
asked
so
him,
much going on.
in what ways has your personal relationship with yourself changed after bariatric surgery, if any?
Definitely things have changed. I don't know if it's considered positive or negative. And pardon my language, but like, in a way, I just don't give a shit no more. Like, I don't want to play games. I know where my goals are, where they lie, and you're riding this train with me, or I can't handle it. Um, and that's give or take some. I got my kids, I got, like, that kind of thing. Like, dealing with that stuff. But, like, I notice things more clearly now. You know, uh, as a bigger person, I realized that I cater to others. Like, I was worried about how you felt, what your feelings were, how was your day. Now I'm worried about mine. So that's what's changed myself is that, like, now it's like, hey, you want to hang out, you want to do this? No, all right, cool, done, boom. And I'm not going to ask until they ask later. Like, it's okay. And I have my goals. You're riding my goals with me because I put myself on the back burner for way too long.
Yeah.
And so that's just how I've changed myself with myself. So you know,
And I can relate to you about the like no negative vibes. My kind of my give a f is broken. I'm more worried about me, and I was always worried about being the guy that not only was funny, but I paid the tab and I bought your dinner, and I almost felt like I had to buy your friendship. And now I see value in myself, so I don't feel like I have to buy it from you, right? Um,
Mm.
I mean,
How
like,
do
but like
you?
men, we are conveniences. We are a convenience. Like, whether that you have a great job, they want you there because you're going to pay for it, or hey, a fellow bro is going to want you to hang out with them because he can pick up all whatever because he knows that you're not the threat. Like, it's just how, like, oh, you can bring the conversation around because you're a conversationalist because you know that I'm going, like, I'm not taking none of these home, none of these people home, and none of these people are trying to hang out with me. So you can bring the group together that your other people can attack, and like you just don't realize it until you start bettering yourself and looking at things.
How do you guys handle like comments and inquiries about your weight loss and everything and about your surgery, like from like just your colleagues, acquaintances, family? Like how does that work for you guys?
So the only people that I've ran into that have like any kind of side-handed negative comments is fire department guys. And the way that I look at that is it's a paramilitary organization. We are morbid human beings and we do nothing but joke with each other and tease each other. And in that realm, by joking and teasing, you're showing that you love them, right? It's like a 5-year-old boy pushing down a little girl and because they actually have a crush. So I didn't take those comments like you took the easy way out or hey man, you think you could have tried a little bit harder the natural way. I just pushed back and said, well, I'm living my life, I'm healthy, and I could be dead, so it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But from a personal standpoint, like between family and like close friends, I haven't had that. But I'll be honest with you, if I had like a close friend that I hung out with all the time and said something like that, I'd probably smack the crap out of them. I have limits, and if you go over the limit, then we're no longer together. We're no longer acquaintances, right? And that would be over my threshold
See,
because
I'd be bringing something out of the treasure chest. I'm like, oh, you got some on me, I got some on you. Let's have fun.
what I tell
Chef
you
Russ just as a simple thank you is all he says. He's
my rebuttal,
transparent.
my rebuttal would be, what's easy about this? What's easy?
Right.
This is the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life, and I almost was killed in a house fire. Right? Like I, I wouldn't. I mean, I would do this again, but it's the hardest thing I've ever done. Right? There's nothing easy about it.
What are the positive impacts on your family post bariatric surgery?
Is that for me or Bob? Is that for me?
Either one of you, and the
Hey, I'll shoot.
comments.
I'll shoot.
I'll give you a chance to both answer. How's that?
Yeah.
So I mean, my main reason for this was for my, at the point in time, I only had one kid. But the positive thing is that I'm here longer. I know I'm here longer. Like I lived a life that where I've seen a lot of things, that I feel like I've seen a lot of things, and now I can tell my story. I don't know. If, I personally don't even know if I'd be here today if it wasn't for the surgery. Um, I definitely was going down a very bad path where I couldn't even look down without snoring. Like I could be standing like dang, I'm standing up. Like that's not healthy. So uh, I just don't think I was gonna be here, man. So like that's the positive thing when it comes to family. Like I'm here. You know, do all of
Yeah.
them like? Yeah, I don't know. They're not gonna say nothing to me. I had no negative. No one spoke negative to me.
Right.
Like what are you gonna do? Like you can't say I took the easy way out because I'm in the gym more than you. Like like when it goes to family meals, I'm like, hey, what do you eat? Like, oh, we can't eat here because you. Y'all find something. I'm good. I'm either gonna eat before, or I'll find something that's gonna accommodate me. Quit accommodate. You don't gotta accommodate to me.
Yeah.
I'm grown.
Right.
I'll take care of
Right.
myself. It's okay. So, I it's all positive from that when it comes to that situation.
Yeah. I
How
think
do
with
you involve your family with that? Like, how do you involve the kids and everything?
You talking about with like my life and stuff? I mean,
Yeah.
like how?
Yeah, like
Uh, well, like if it comes to food, I don't like. Here's the thing: and I hear a lot of stuff of people who make food and dinner. Like, well, the people at home eat this, so I've struggled because I eat it. Guess what? I eat my own stuff. What do you want? I make it. I don't have to eat it. So I incorporate them. Like, hey, you want to go? And then sometimes my little girls, I'm like, hey, you want to help Daddy make his dinner? And they know it's Daddy's food. They're up there helping Daddy, and then I make theirs. Like I don't. It's okay. Like oh my goodness, we have to make an extra meal. like we've not inconvenienced ourselves in the past. Like, okay, take a couple extra few minutes, man. Just take care of yourself. Like, so
Yeah, Chef. I don't see. I've never had anything negative being said to me from anyone in my family either. But I bet I can just imagine how many family members or friends or acquaintances you come across who like have something to say about, like Bobby had mentioned, the easy way out. What were you going to say? Home, street home.
No, like with my wife, I think some of the positive things that have come out, or my immediate family who have kids. I cook for her all the time, right? I'm more active. I can walk my dog. I'm not. I don't dread walking my dog, right? One of the negative things that has come out of it is for the first 3 or 4 months, I wanted to live through my wife. So I cooked her everything that she wanted and everything that I wanted. But I don't cook healthy, so I cook with a lot of butter and love. So she put on a couple pounds through this process of me losing weight. So that put a little tension on the relationship, but um, I flexed and we're good now. But everything I've had was just positive from the family.
Hey, now we're halfway through. Those of you in the comments, don't forget to like and share this live with your friends. We can get some people in here involved in this conversation, these comments, and this is some good information that we're providing and we're learning for our bariatric male community.
So Brian actually says that his brother tried to sabotage his success.
For
Have
real.
you
Wow.
yeah, that's insane.
My brother's currently blocked on my phone's list, so I would just I haven't talked to him in like 5 months.
How'd he try to sabotage it, Brian? Share that in the
Yeah.
comments if you don't mind.
And
Yeah,
have you
Hello,
felt like
Trace.
anyone has tried to sabotage either of you
that's
along
crazy.
this journey?
No,
Go ahead, I dare you.
not me.
you talking to me?
You trying to set me up. I'm not going for that. Nah, no one's
No,
ever
no, no.
tried to
I'm not setting
sabotage
you
me.
up.
Yeah.
Hey,
We've
I'll
heard your
speak.
story.
I'll speak. Um, I don't know if it's considered necessarily sabotage. You know, like I think being sabotaged is something that what you perceive it as, and it's not always that out front. I noticed with in my relationship is that at home there wasn't a lot of conversation. There's not talking. It's just more like I had my goal. They see it. They just left me alone. There wasn't a support really, and so like I'm a very if y'all met me, I'm a talker. We're in person. Let's boom, boom, boom. Let's talk, talk, talk. Um, but there wasn't really communication at home. But I noticed that I after a while I set myself to where I'm in the gym 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I work, I go to the gym. There's only 3 days that person wanted to talk to me and hang out with me. That's the only time they had issues. There's always issues on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Huh.
So I realized I was like, man, why is it that And so me, I'm a father. So the thing with the kids, there's always something wrong with the kids. So guess where I went? I left the gym, go home. So when I'm out there trying to better myself, I find myself to where I'm like, why am I home? It's only on those days, but nothing ever happens. When I'm home on the other days, there was nothing. It's like everything's good, and so you don't know that necessarily if it's sabotage, but there's just something that just happens.
Mm.
I'm not gonna say it's sabotage, but like later on, you're like, man, why is it that you only have issues these days? You know,
Mm.
but and I mentioned that to my significant other is that like we can't be mad at it to be honest because we changed. You know, she fell in love with a 400-pound guy. Like is it? I mean, if something happens, it's not my fault.
Mm.
I mean, I changed. Whether for the better or the worse doesn't mean it's the better or worse for her. So it's difficult. We have to go through that. And get a little soft on him, just trying to be a little to calm down. But you know, it's different. It's we attack them because like hey they don't treat us right. But guess what? We're not the same people, guys.
Yeah. Well, the
No.
way I like to
No.
look at my marriage is my wife loved me when I was almost my goal weight, and loved me at my highest of 521, and loves me now, right? So I know she's the true definition of like ride or die. Um, but that's pretty deep, like connecting the Monday, Wednesday kind of thing. I haven't ran into that yet. Actually, my wife usually tells me to go to the gym more.
How do you talk to your wife about like the changes in your body and stuff? Like obviously, like I know there's a mental aspect of it, but how do you talk about this stuff um with her? And like do you voice your concerns with her? Like how open are you with her about like your whole overall journey? And that's for you, Rob. Home
Uh,
sweet home, my friend.
oh, repeat it.
Like how do you like how do you discuss the changes with your body and stuff? Like
Um,
obviously your body's going through a ton of changes and like obviously there's a mental aspect of it where you start to form insecurities and everything. And I mean she loved you when you were at your biggest, but like obviously there's still things going on in your head. Like how do you discuss that with her?
I mean, with her, it's pretty easy. We have a very blunt relationship. Um,
Hmm.
we don't really candy coat much. She's the one that notices changes before I do, and points them out. So she just kind of helps me with like, hey, like, have you noticed that this has changed? And I'll go, no. And we'll take a picture and go back to the prior picture from whenever we took it last and compare side by side. I mean, she's the one that typically points it out before I do. But like from the journey of food, it's been difficult at times because she wants me to eat more, and I have to explain, hey, I can't. Like this is what I can eat. I weighed it. Just because you think I can eat more doesn't mean I should. This is what the doctor told me to do. So
Hmm.
there's that like in the differences that we kind of sometimes butt heads, but she's from a change standpoint, she's the one that points it out.
Yeah. Bobby, what about you? I know you're a little bit further out anyways, but like when those changes started to happen, like what was how did you talk about it with your loved ones?
There really wasn't a whole lot of talk, man. To be honest, with me, I went into it. I had the support of my father for sure, but support can be in many different things. It's not necessarily and I will go back to the wife thing for sure. But like, it's not always like, man, you got this. Like keep it going. If you need anything, let me know. It's more of like, hey, you're doing good. That's the support I had. It's because like I kind of went at it realizing really early on that I didn't have that support, so I supported
Hmm.
myself. So it was just like I just went in and I grinded, did my job, like in and out. Let's keep it rolling. Um, but the hard part for my situation is that when I chose to do this surgery, um, the wife got pregnant. So it was very hard in the household when one's gaining weight and one's losing. So
Mm.
I can only, I don't pretend to even imagine what a female goes through when it comes to all that stuff by any means. And this just talks about later on, not necessarily giving her an excuse or a reason to do what happened, but like at her most vulnerable is where I'm the most feeling top notch of myself, like
Yeah.
so it was very difficult to deal with because like I've lost 200 pounds and she's gaining, and then after the baby was born, like luckily with my job at that point in time, I had 6 weeks off, work paid for 6 weeks off. And this is, I had surgery in April and the daughter was born on June 1st. So basically, you know, June, half of June to July, in July, like there's family in and out, there's this and that. I was here. If I wasn't home, I was in the gym. And so there was a little bit of separation because, like, yeah, I could be home, but I took care of it. When I was home, I took care of the kid. Like by all means. But when there's family over, like, what am I gonna do? You know. So I focused on the gym, and that kind of put up to where I neglected a little bit, is what I was told. But it was like, what I mean, I just can't be everywhere at all times. So, but it was like I said, it was just difficult with her because like it was just. And this is later on in life that we realize it. Like
So
you
I was,
gauge. You know.
yeah, I was having a conversation, and not to cut you off, Bobby,
No,
I'm sorry about that.
no, you're good.
But I was having a conversation the other day on a live, and I was talking about, um, I'm going through this, I'm feeling better, support this, support that. And I feel like it's safe to say, yes, that uh, we're taking on these changes in our lives emotionally, mentally, and physically, and we don't know how to make the necessary changes. We're kind of going and rolling with the punches, right? And then our significant others, our people that we're in relationships with, people that we come in contact with, whoever it may be, um, we kind of like expect them to already know and change as well. Um, how could you, can you advise or can you give some advice on how someone that doesn't know how to make that change between the two, like understanding that myself, I just had this surgery, I need to make the change, but don't be so selfish to expect the person that didn't have the surgery to just automatically know how to adapt to the changes that I need to make. You
I
follow?
mean, yeah. I wouldn't say like necessarily like they don't have to adapt to the changes, but they need to adapt to you in a situation because like you said something about like catering to like you gotta cater to yourself, bro. Like you have to take care of yourself, and if they want to be a part of your life still, they do need to change to an extent, and vice versa. Like it's a different lifestyle. Just because like you lost weight and you're bettering yourself, like how much are you really changing in the beginning? Technically, like I feel like if you start getting in better shape and treating people differently, it's because they're not following with you. If you're in love with that person and you're our friend, whatever it is, and they're joining with you, like, hey, so they're rising with you. So there's not really has to be that separation.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the thing, we took care of everybody else around us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take care of yourself, man. Like, they should want to be, they should want to do that also. Like, and that's part of my issue is that, like, I did the tough love, the soft love. There's this, like, hey, like, I need help. Like, it's not like I need help with me what I'm doing, but I can't be the person who's I'm in the gym, I'm doing eating right, I'm doing this, but I'm coming home and you're eating, I'm just saying this.
It's
That's like
finding a healthy
three
balance
protein, three
between
this,
both of
through
you.
that. You're adding more. You're doing eating more. Like you're eating that. You're making enough for 7 people, but you're only feeding two. Like I can't help that. Like you have to help yourself too. They
Mm-hmm.
have to want to be involved with you.
Right.
I mean, because
I
if it
like
works out,
what
we're there along with them, right? Like we could
right.
not even be here right now.
I like what
They could be
Bev
by
said.
themselves already.
They fell in love with someone you are trying to change. It's on you to change them to grow with, right?
Yeah.
This is such an important conversation. Glad to hear from a male point of view. My husband made the comment that he's happy to have his wife back since I've had the surgery from Sarah.
A lot of good comments going through here. The comments are really like they're
Yeah.
popping, and this it's kind of hard to follow, but a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff coming through here.
Has
Um,
intimacy increased or decreased post-op? Has intimacy
oh, that was from
increased or
Marin. Yeah,
decreased?
great
Yeah.
question.
I'm a virgin. I've been married 16 years.
What about you, Bobby?
Um.
Strong.
Just because my will's stronger doesn't mean it hasn't. So I mean, it's definitely changed. I mean, so
Tried to
and that,
slide that one in there, didn't he? That
yeah.
was great. I love
Uh,
it.
so, oh man, I was going to say something about this exactly. It's like, and that's part of like realizing myself and going about to like how it was. I got to where like honestly like I couldn't ask for it no more because it kind of it felt very. I refuse to ask for any attention when it comes to that because I work my butt off to make sure I'm able to and to want that. Like I mean, I know physically, visually, I look way better than what I did to myself. But it's weird to knowing that like if you don't converse into where like I'm saying that I'm interested in that, it don't happen. And because like honestly, I don't want to say the word because I don't want to bit the nail. Like it rhymes. Like grapey. Like that's what I feel like. I'm like I can't. Why would I have to keep asking? Like you shouldn't have to. And I just don't no more. So like and it's hard. And
To a
we said
certain point, like
yeah.
guys are always like, you take charge. You
Right.
know, you're the aggressive. But you know what? Sometimes you want your lady to jump your bones.
Yeah.
I mean, to
Honestly,
a
yeah.
certain point for a guy, it's like, you know what? Oh wow, yeah, she really wants me.
Yeah,
Like
I think
it's
Yeah. Yeah. I've actually working for like, and I also say this. I visually look how I thought I always felt as a bigger person. Because I always had confidence. I was confident
yeah.
knowing I wasn't going to get anything, but like, I just knew that's what I wanted. What I'm saying? Like, so if I'm putting in this work and I'm doing my thing to make sure I'm healthier, to where I'm able to do whatever needs to be done, like, I know it sounds weird and you want me, like, just want me,
yeah.
you know?
Like I mean, obviously it's better post op because I kind of had the same mindset. Pre op, I didn't love myself. I didn't like myself. I didn't enjoy myself. I was 521 pounds, so if I wanted to get to a certain thing, I couldn't get to it. So now, obviously, it's better because as you lose weight, things change. So I would say it's on the better side of where it was. It's back to where it used to be when my wife first met me.
Hey, I got a comment by Anna. She says a woman has to feel secure in her relationship to want her man to jump her man's bones. So I thought I'd just bring that up. I like that.
I agree with that. I also think they have to
Yeah.
be comfortable in their own shell first in order to be comfortable
Sure.
with you.
So, and Sherry says you want to be wanted and you want your partner to come up to your new level.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's true.
It's fun.
One thing that's improved since marriage or since my post op. I no longer I'm no longer am grounded because I don't pee on the seat anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Regs
Oh, yeah.
Regs
I'm gonna find that.
Leave it to
Regs
Regs.
Rex said, I'm not gonna lie, it's still weird for me in bed with loose skin, but luckily my fiance is very happy with me and things have been great. That's awesome, Rex.
Rags is hilarious.
It's
He's
a good
a,
feeling, isn't
I,
it?
I, yeah, I will say he was probably the most
So,
open person I know about.
His
so
videos are,
yeah, that is a major NSV.
but for real, for real, if you're not following Rags, go follow him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely follow
definitely.
him.
If you're not following everybody on this panel, make sure you're following them for sure. And again, we got about 11 minutes left to this,
Yeah.
so we're
In
gonna
11
start.
minutes before that,
Yeah.
while we're talking about Regs, shout out
Yeah,
to Regs. He's been
heck
so
yeah.
active since we got onto this platform, and we actually just made him an official moderator to the Bari
Moderator
Male Experience.
Rex.
So
So,
I'm starting to see a little bit on the comments, and I know it kind of come off what I said,
Yeah.
like, oh, a woman needs to feel secure, a lot of communication. And here's the thing, I ain't got to tell you everything, because I'm the most communicated person, detailed-oriented person there is, especially when it comes to this. And if you speak, if anyone around, they speak to who I'm with, they'll know. And we know that we have our issues, and we're trying to, we're working things out what we can. But like a woman needs to feel secure. Okay, I get that. And I'm just thinking, is like, so if it always happened beforehand and now you're bettering yourself and being able to provide and be there more often, where did the security lose?
Yeah.
So just because you've been doing it, I got laid more times. I'm talking, yes, in that form of manner. I was way more active at 400 pounds than I was now at 220. So if there was security back then when I couldn't even hardly breathe, couldn't do this, but I was still there. But I'm doing the same thing now, doing even more because I'm able to do more. I'm there to cater. That was my thing is I wanted to be the best person there was for them. I want to be the best father. I wanted to be the best husband. So there definitely wasn't like a thing to where like I feel or anyone else, like when you have other friends like, man, like what's going on? There's other issues. And then guess what? I understand that it's her issue now.
Yeah.
And it sucks. Like I'm here like what do you need to do to help yourself out? Like what can you do? There's nothing I can do anymore.
Right.
I dealt with stuff for 3 years, like I'm trying to take care of like what does she need and that's what I want. Like I want her to be okay. So it's not always like, oh, they don't have the security from us.
Yeah.
So
Right. All right.
yeah,
And for the sake of time,
gotcha.
um, we'll let's get this will be a closing question, and this will be for the both of you guys to answer. Like, what advice do you have for everyone out here in the panel, um, and how to navigate your relationships? Like, what from your experience? And Home Street Home, you can start that one off.
And that's any relationship, right? Like we're
Yeah.
not just talking about, we're talking about at work. We're talking about, intimacy, relationships in that way, friendships, obviously, the rest, all those things. Let me jump right into it real quick and I'll lead you right into it. I'm talking about like at work, everybody is constantly saying, how good you look, how good you look awesome, you look great, and you hear all this, but you're like the center of attention, and that's kind of, eh, I don't know if I like that. Or even at home, if I'm talking about personally, I'm getting all the attention from the friends that I've made here on this in the bariatric community, and I feel so supported, but I have yet to give the lady at home the opportunity to support me in the same way because I'm just so connected, with the support that I'm getting here because these are the folks that have gone through the same thing that I've gone through. Is that fair? Probably not, but how do we navigate through those certain situations? So there's different aspects of relationships that we're referring to. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah. So I think the the aspect of relationship with like my wife, and I'll talk them separate them. With my wife, we were very transparent. We level set expectations. We talked about like what we thought the journey would be. We from our research. So we had clear, concise, like this is what we know we're going to do, and this is how we're going to handle it. If we run into this roadblock, we're going to go here. If we run into this roadblock, we're going to go here. It was like a flow chart, right? So we kind of had a blueprint to walk into. But at the end of the day, it's just about clear, concise, and honest communication with my wife. Probably too honest at times because I over divulge and I tell myself, but I rather us not have issues there. From a work standpoint, I started a new career through this process, so I haven't had that much of hey, you look great, hey, they didn't see me before, right? But what I did have to do is have conversations with my broker and my boss around food and if he's going to cater stuff and he's going to provide stuff like hey this is kind of what my guidelines are and if you can't do that then just let me know so I can take care of myself um, and then from a friendship standpoint I I level set with my friends like hey we're not going to go out to the Brazilian steakhouse anymore. I'm not going to go there because I'm not going to waste my money or have the temptation. So I level set before this process, and then we still it changes through the process, right? So we just communicate. That's it.
So off of what you said at this, like when you're getting attention from other places, like don't get me wrong, I like attention, but I'm gonna hear it. It's cool, but I'm that kind of person. I need that personal. Like I need that, like, hey, you're 2 feet in front of me attention. That's what's gonna seal my deal. So I can hear it all day, and it's cool, and I've heard it, and I've gone to like meetups and I hear things. It's cool. I enjoy it because it's showing that someone is recognizing the work I put in. But I did this for my family. Like if you know my original story, I had spine surgery 10 years ago. I'm titanium. My daughter outcrawled me, and I couldn't walk, and I had to ask for help. So like This whole surgery was nothing to be a better father and better husband. That is it. That was the whole goal. And it doesn't mean I'm not stopped working to do what I'm doing. I still want to be live better and be the better person. But you know, I will take the attention as that to acknowledging me. That's fine, cool. You're noticing what I'm doing. That's it. So you know, we didn't have a goal, like, because I didn't know TikTok was a thing. I didn't know, so I wasn't social media. I had my surgery in April, and I think it was November before I even jumped on Octoberish. So I don't care. It doesn't bother me what other people say. Like, it matters what people around me that actually affect me say. So I'm not personal. Hey, if I can't touch you in arm's reach, I mean, like, deep down, I just don't feel like you affect it. You don't affect my decisions, my issues.
Right.
That was good.
So, yeah, I appreciate it. Home Street Home and Bobby, we thank you guys for joining us this evening so much. Thanks for helping us put some things into perspective as men. Uh, I personally appreciate it. Um, I know who I'm turning to in the DMs, that's for sure. Um, each and every one of you in the comments, we appreciate all the likes. We're at 48,000 likes. That's much appreciated. We've got 56 people watching. That's awesome.
we
It's
and we appreciate all the activity going down in the comments. I saw a lot of great questions down there. I'm sorry if we didn't get to a lot of them, but like the conversation was popping down there, and it always is. It's been like that since the beginning. But if we're going to take anything out from this live, I think it's very important that the relationships that we do have should be positive ones, because they do end up becoming your support system, outside of just the clinical aspect of it. So,
right.
align yourself with the right people, and this journey will be
Period.
that much easier.
That much easier. Relationships after bariatric surgery. So, ladies and gentlemen, look, we had just reached 51,000 likes on this live. That is amazing. Clap it up. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Next week, we are going to have an episode. It's going to be titled Pounds of Connection. What's Pounds of Connection, Tony?
So we are actually going to have a few people on the panel that are they've gone a couple different routes, not just with bariatric surgery. So one, we do have Triple Dad of TikTok.
Mm,
He's
mm,
actually done the GLP-1, and he's had surgery as well. But we're also going to have AJ. Um, what's JJ's full
AJ
handle?
Cook.
AJ Big Boy.
Yeah, AJ Big Boy, the Slim.
Yeah.
We're actually going to have him on panel. So we're actually reaching out to the wider weight loss community, because we want to find out what the similarities of all of our journeys are. We are just one part of a larger weight loss community, and we'd like to hear from their point of view
That's
of
right. So
their journey.
uh,
So
make
I think
sure
it's
you check.
important for us to remember. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Rab.
Nah, it's cool. It's important for us to remember what, Tony?
It's important for us to remember that this is, while we all have different journeys, we all have like the same goal, and that's to live a healthier lifestyle and be the healthiest versions of ourselves.
That's absolutely correct. I couldn't agree with you more, partner. With that being said, next week, y'all, Pounds of Connection every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll see y'all next week on Male Experience. Bobby, Rob, Ricky, and Mike. Nah, thanks a lot, y'all. Peace, love, and soul.
Have a good night, guys.